missing 3-year-old little girl in Delaware. Police have canceled an Amber Alert and now say the child is dead as they launch a homicide investigation. Good afternoon to you, everyone. I'm Natasha Brown in for Jim Donovan today. Now, we just got this update from Newcastle County Police just within the last hour, but there are still lots and lots of questions surrounding this case right now. So let's get right out to CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes. He's live at Newcastle County Police headquarters. He's got the latest. Ryan.
Natasha, good afternoon to you. We just heard that update from police, that heart-wrenching update that nobody was hoping for. As you mentioned, about 45 minutes to an hour ago, police gave a brief update. They say that this Amber Alert has now been canceled, and this is a homicide investigation out of the state of Maryland. I just heard from Maryland State Police. They tell me that 3-year-old little girl lived in Cecil County. We're not sure who she lived with, but Cecil County, of course, not far from where we are. Now, Newcastle County Police and the FBI, they worked through the night working to find 3-year-old Nola Dinkins. Multiple tips came in, we're told, but investigators say the mom's initial story of what happened was simply not true. Let's get right to that breaking update from Newcastle County Police.
Detectives determined that the initial account of the investigation of the incident given by the mother was false. The Amber Alert is now canceled and there is no danger to the public. Sadly, this incident is now being treated as a homicide investigation by the Maryland State Police.
And Nola's mom initially reported the 3-year-old missing around 7:15 last night. She told police she pulled her car over in the 500 block of Gender Road in Newark to calm the toddler down. They were outside of the car when the mom claimed they were approached by a stranger with a gun, and she said that man took Nola. She also told police the 3-year-old was put in the back of an SUV, and the man and another woman then drove away. Well, this morning, we also saw Newcastle County Police searching the Liberty Point apartment complex. That's about 2 miles from where Nola was taken. We are told that that search was part of this investigation. Police did not take any questions during that quick briefing. They say that that happened about 45 minutes ago. They tell us they are now actively working still with the FBI and Maryland State Police. Maryland State Police is the agency now handling this investigation. The last update that I had, they told us that that 3-year-old little girl, Nola Dinkins, lived in Cecil County. We're not sure with who. Maryland State Police also asking for the public for more information on this case. We reached out also for more information. Once we get any update at all, we'll let you know as soon as possible. But the latest update, this Amber Alert has been canceled. Now a homicide investigation out of the state of Maryland. That is the very latest. We are live in Newcastle.
A tragic turn in the search for a missing toddler, with the investigation spanning 2 states. 3-year-old Nola Dinkins now believed to be dead, and tonight her mother and her mother's boyfriend are charged in her murder. Police say this all started with a false report that the girl had been kidnapped in Delaware, which sparked an Amber Alert. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. Now state police in Maryland say they've recovered a child's body, but have not yet confirmed if it's little Nola. Our Steve Keeley is live in Cecil County, Maryland tonight. Steve, what can you tell us?
It all began hours ago with an Amber Alert in Delaware, and then ended here in Maryland with charges of the murder of a little girl at the hands of her own mother.
Homicide unit investigators had enough information gleaned through the investigation that connected these 2 individuals with the disappearance of this 3-year-old.
And then after a search near where the mother and her daughter, 3-year-old Nola Dinkins, lived with the mother's boyfriend, a little girl's body was found in a vacant lot in northeast Maryland, 25 miles from where Newcastle County Police say the mother falsely reported to them her little girl had been abducted. The 31-year-old mother, Darian Randall, now charged with first-degree murder and first-degree child abuse resulting in death of a minor under 13 and related crimes. Her live-in boyfriend, 44-year-old Cedric Britton, now charged with first-degree accessory to murder after the fact, failure to report a child death, and more related crimes.
The leads that our homicide unit investigators were able to obtain that led them to the site where the human remains were discovered, which was in a vacant lot in Northeast. Maryland State Police were assisting with the Amber Alert part of the investigation when they learned that the 3-year-old lived in Cecil County, they responded to the home, and that is where they made contact with the 44-year-old man involved in this investigation.
After a child's body was found at 1:45 this afternoon, the Maryland Medical Examiner's autopsy next is expected to answer the remaining questions.
Our investigators are waiting on the results of the autopsy to not just only identify the young, what we believe to be a child's body, but also cause and manner of death.
Well, right now, the boyfriend is being held here with Maryland State Police in their lockup awaiting his first court appearance, while the mother is still being held on $1 million bail over in Delaware, just on the false reporting charges, awaiting extradition back here to Maryland to face the more heinous murder counts. And one veteran detective says on top of how horrible this case already is, it may likely have people questioning future Amber Alerts now, as this heinous case is one, he says, that is sure to stick in the minds of everyone who now knows all these awful details that have come out so far.
All right, Steve Keeley there, live for us. And as we work to learn more about suspect Darian Randall and little Nola, we do know that court records link them to a custody case in Indiana.
And I'm Nikki Zizaza. The breaking news: police have found a body in Cecil County as they were searching for a missing 3-year-old girl out of Delaware.
Yeah, it's been the big story that we've been following for the past few hours now, as WJZ is
go.
live at the Maryland State Police Barracks in Perryville. Ashley Paul staying on top of this story for us. And Ashley, we just heard from Maryland State Police. What did they have to say in that press conference?
They're learning now that that a body has been found, and that body is consistent with a child. But right now we are still waiting on a positive identification of that body and more details about what exactly unfolded here. Now we're learning tonight that 3-year-old Nola Dinkins is the victim in this case, or rather they are trying to confirm that she is the victim in this case. The search began for Dinkins last night after Newcastle County Police received a call from Dinkins' mother that the little girl was abducted on Gender Road in Newark, Delaware. This morning, officials with the department said the case had switched from a missing persons search to a homicide investigation, confirming to our partners at CBS in Philadelphia that the little girl is dead. But Maryland State Police told us earlier today that they could not confirm the child was dead, adding they were still hoping to find her alive. We're told Dinkins and her mother are residents of Cecil County, and various agencies spent the day searching for the little girl both here in Maryland and in Delaware. Now, Maryland State Police would not confirm exactly where the body was found, but they did say that it was found inside a vacant lot. We're also told that charges are pending, but at this point we are not sure if any arrests have been made. So again, at this point we do know that a body consistent with the remains consistent with that of a child have been found. We're still waiting on a positive identification on that body, and we are expecting to learn more details within the next hour. We'll bring you those details as soon as we learn them. But for now, reporting live on your corner in Cecil County, I'm Ashley Paul, WJZ.
Missing 3-year-old little girl in Delaware. Police have canceled an Amber Alert and now say the child is dead as they launch a homicide investigation. Good afternoon to you, everyone. I'm Natasha Brown in for Jim Donovan today. Now, we just got this update from Newcastle County Police just within the last hour, but there are still lots and lots of questions surrounding this case right now. So let's get right out to CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes. He's live at Newcastle County Police headquarters. He's got the latest. Ryan.
Natasha, good afternoon to you. We just heard that update from police, that heart-wrenching update that nobody was hoping for. As you mentioned, about 45 minutes to an hour ago, police gave a brief update. They say that this Amber Alert has now been canceled, and this is a homicide investigation out of the state of Maryland. I just heard from Maryland State Police. They tell me that 3-year-old little girl lived in Cecil County. We're not sure who she lived with, but Cecil County, of course, not far from where we are. Now, Newcastle County Police and the FBI, they worked through the night working to find 3-year-old Nola Dinkins. Multiple tips came in, we're told, but investigators say the mom's initial story of what happened was simply not true. Let's get right to that breaking update from Newcastle County Police.
Detectives determined that the initial account of the investigation, or of the incident, given by the mother was false. The Amber Alert is now canceled, and there is no danger to the public. Sadly, this incident is now being treated as a homicide investigation by the Maryland State Police.
And Nola's mom initially reported the 3-year-old missing around 7:15 last night. She told police she pulled her car over in the 500 block of Gender Road in Newark to calm the toddler down. They were outside of the car when the mom claimed they were approached by a stranger with a gun, and she said that man took Nola. She also told police the 3-year-old was put in the back of an SUV, and the man and another woman then drove away. Well, this morning, we also saw Newcastle County Police searching the Liberty Point apartment complex. That's about 2 miles from where Nola was taken. We are told that that search was part of this investigation. Police did not take any questions during that quick briefing. They say that that happened about 45 minutes ago. They tell us they are now actively working still with the FBI and Maryland State Police. Maryland State Police is the agency now handling this investigation. The last update that I had, they told us that that 3-year-old little girl, Nola Dinkins, lived in Cecil County. We're not sure with who. Maryland State Police also asking for the public for more information on this case. We reached out also for more information. Once we get any update at all, we'll let you know as soon as possible. But the latest update, this Amber Alert has been canceled. Now a homicide investigation out of the state of Maryland. That is the very latest. We are live in Newcastle.
I'm telling you, the world is full of devils. By now you know the Amber Alert was fake, and the mother made up the whole entire story that somebody kidnapped her baby by gunpoint and then kidnapped her. This is 3-year-old Nola Dinkins, and her mom beat her to death with a belt, threw her in a suitcase, and then called her boyfriend. When her boyfriend got there, they decided to coerce up a story stating that a white couple kidnapped the baby at gunpoint, and that triggered the Amber Alert. When that was going on, they decided to put the baby inside that BMW and discard her somewhere in the woods. The mother and the boyfriend are being held on a $1 million bail. Rest in peace, baby girl.
You lying, selfish, sad case of a mother that deserves way more than jail time. Man, this story hurts. This 3-year-old girl, just 3, didn't die at the hands of a stranger. She didn't get lost. She didn't run away. She was failed by the people that were supposed to love her the most. My name is Kimo, and I do motivational content on TikTok, and today I want to talk to you about little baby Nola Dinkins and how her mother unalived her and then lied about it. So let's talk about it. On June 10th, 31-year-old Darren Randall, which is Nola Dinkins' mother, called the police to report that her child was kidnapped. She claimed that she pulled over because Nola Dinkins was a little upset, so she pulled over to comfort her. And that was when an armed white male approached her and kidnapped her daughter. He also stated he was in a dark-colored truck. Said she was forced out the car and they took Nola Dinkins. An Amber Alert was immediately released. Everyone was watching and praying and hoping for Nola Dinkins' return. But within hours, her whole story fell apart. Investigators did their due diligence and did their investigation. They found no evidence of a kidnapping. So her mother was arrested and charged with filing a false police report. And she sat in jail overnight. But what happens next turns this story from heartbreaking to horrifying. On June 11th at 1:45, a small child's body was found in a wooded area in Maryland. That body is believed to be Nola Dinkins' body, dead and thrown away, just 3 years old. And what is this world coming to? Her mother, Darren Randall, 31 years old, is now being charged for first-degree and second-degree murder. Cedric Anthony Britton, 44 years old, is charged with accessory and first-degree and second-degree murder. Now listen here, there is never a reason to take a child's life. I don't care how broke you are, I don't care how hurt you are, I don't care how bad your relationship is with the parent. These babies ain't asked to be here. They depend on us to protect them. She deserves hugs, not headlines. She deserves bedtime stories, not a body bag. To make this matter even worse, her death was covered up with a lie that instantly backfired. The same mother that was supposed to be fighting for her daughter's life was the same one faking the kidnapping and thought she was gonna get away with it. The story didn't even make sense. And one thing I did want to address, lately, that Amber Alert has been failing parents, failing the kids that's in situations, and no one agency should be able to stop an Amber Alert until they know exactly what's going on with the child. For the system, y'all failed this little girl again. I'm tired of talking about stories like this, where the system could have did something for them. If that Amber Alert would have stayed on for that little girl, maybe we would have found her sooner. Maybe the hunt would have been faster. You don't stop an Amber Alert because there was a lie. You stop it when you find that child. This story needs to get out there. so the world can realize how important it is to protect their kids. To the mother, you deserve everything you gonna get. And to the boyfriend that got accessory, it's a damn shame. I wanna say rest in peace to the sweet baby Nola Dinkins. You should still be here laughing, learning, and living, not buried and forgotten. Like, comment, and share this post so she's never forgotten. And if nobody told you, remember Chemo told you. Stay motivated and protect your kids, because the world out here ain't gonna always do it for you.
So the mother of 3-year-old Nola Dinkins is now under a homicide investigation. Last night she stated that her daughter was kidnapped at gunpoint by a white male that was 6 feet and had a peach fuzz beard, that he had gotten into an SUV and took off with her daughter. She states they were in the car at about 7 p.m. last night, and she seemed a little bit fussy, so she pulled over to try to calm her down, and that is when this incident took place. Of course, this morning they started to look into camera footage and things of that sort, and that is not the case. It has now been reported that she is no longer with us. So the Amber Alert that was in place out of Delaware has absolutely been canceled. Now, they actually lived in Cecil County, Maryland, and so Maryland is now leading the investigation, including the FBI. I don't know what is with these parents who don't want their kids, but taking the kids out is not the appropriate thing. If you don't want to be a parent no more, don't be a parent no more. That does not mean the child does not need to live. Now, this is a very sad incident, and I will be keeping up with the details as they come in.
I knew the mama was lying because it was just something about that story that just was not adding up to me. So the other day, there was an Amber Alert issue for a little 3-year-old girl. Her name was Nola Dinkins, right? Well, on today, the Amber Alert was canceled because the mother made a false report about the child being abducted. Now, it's been treated like a homicide investigation. So, yeah, when I ran across the story the other day, I was like, it's some red flags, because who gonna pull over at 7:15 p.m. at night because their child is upset and crying? No, we up in a wooded area, ain't nobody around, it's 7 p.m., probably dark or getting dark. Nah, I'm finna go on to the nearest stop. You know what I'm saying? The lady said that when she pulled over, it was a woman driving the vehicle and it was a white male, and he got out and held her at point and took the child. So now the investigators and everything to cancel the Amber Alert because they said they found out that the mama was lying, and the mama is in custody and being charged with making a false report. Now, they didn't say how they knew that the mama was lying, but when I tell you that I am watching this story because I knew it was red flags when I first heard it. I want to know where that baby is or what happened to that baby.
Hey, y'all, what's up? Now, I'm not sure if you guys heard about this story. It happened last night in Delaware. A mother stated that her 3-year-old Nola Dinkins was kidnapped by a white T man and a white T woman. She described the van they took the baby in, but she didn't follow the van. Now, what she's saying happened was she pulled over on the side of the road because Nola was having a moment, and a van pulled up. The man had a pew and took her child. Only for less than 24 hours later, she's in custody because they have found this baby's body. So I'm just going to read to y'all a little bit what it says here. It says police in Newcastle County, Delaware said detectives have since determined the mother lied about the abduction, and the case is now being investigated as a homicide. Maryland State Police provided an update Wednesday afternoon saying a body was recovered in Cecil County, but that investigators await a positive identification. Maryland State Police say they believe Nola lived in Cecil County. The child's mother was taken into custody, though no charges were filed as of Wednesday afternoon. But Maryland investigators are working with the FBI and Newcastle County Police Department as a part of the continuing investigation. That bitch lied. She did something to that baby. Like, I kind of knew this was going to be the outcome when I first saw it, but I did not want this to be the outcome. What do y'all think about this? This is just ridiculous. Toodles.
The disappearance of 3-year-old Nola Dinkins transitions from an Amber Alert to a multi-agency homicide investigation spanning Delaware and Maryland. Following what police say was a false kidnapping report, 2 individuals are now in custody, and human remains have been recovered in a vacant lot in Maryland. The following is a detailed uh, of events as released by law enforcement. Tuesday, January 10th, 2025, 7:14 p.m. Report of child abduction. Newcastle County Police responded to the 500 block of Gender Road in Newark, Delaware, after receiving a report from Darren Randall, who stated that her 3-year-old daughter, Nola Dinkins, had been abducted at gunpoint. Darren told officers she had pulled over near the wooded area to calm her daughter when an unknown white male with a handgun approached and abducted Nola. The suspect fled to the scene in an older, dark-colored SUV, possibly a Ford or Chevrolet, which showed rust or dirt on the sides. The vehicle was reportedly driven by a white female. 7:43 p.m. Bolo alert disseminated. Law enforcement agencies throughout the region. The male suspect was described as a bald white male in his mid-40s wearing a black hoodie, gray basketball shorts. The female driver was described as a white female in her 30s with blonde hair. No license plate information was provided. Just after 10 p.m., an Amber Alert issued. A statewide Amber Alert was issued in Nola Dinkins. She was described as a black female, approximately 3 feet tall, weighing 25 pounds, with black hair in a bun and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, black leggings, and white shoes. Authorities warned that there was no known connection between the child and the suspects and requested the public's assistance. Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, morning. Police reclassified case. At the morning press briefing, Newcastle Police announced that overnight investigation efforts in coordination with the FBI had revealed inconsistencies in the original account. Police determined that the kidnapping story provided by Nola's mother, Darren Randall, was fabricated, police said. The Amber Alert was canceled, and the investigation was turned over to the Maryland Police Homicide Unit. Afternoon arrest of Darren Randall. Darren Randall was arrested and charged by Newcastle County Police with felony falsely reporting an incident. She was arraigned by Justice of the Peace Court 11 and committed to Baylor Women's Correctional Institution on $1 million cash bail. Her custody status was confirmed at 9:38 p.m. A preliminary hearing was scheduled for June 23, 2025 at the Newcastle County Court of Common Pleas in Wilmington. Afternoon, discovery of human remains in Northeast Maryland. Maryland State Police responded to last known address of Darren Randall in Northeast Maryland, where they made contact with 44-year-old Cedric Anton Brenton. According to officials, the interaction and subsequent investigation uncovered evidence of potential criminal activity. This development led investigators to a vacant lot in Northeast. At approximately 1:45 p.m., members of the Maryland Police Homicide Unit located human remains in the vacant lot. The remains appeared consistent with those of a young child. The remains were sent to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Baltimore to perform an autopsy to confirm the identity of the deceased. Later afternoon, additional arrests and charges filed. Maryland police announced that both Darren Randall and Cedric Brenton have been formally charged. Randall was charged in Maryland with first and second-degree murder, first-degree child abuse resulting in the death of a minor under 13, and related offenses. She remained in custody in Delaware, pending extraditing. Britton was charged with accessory to first and second degree unaliving after the fact, failure to report the child's death, and additional charges has. He was taken into custody in Maryland and was awaiting his initial appearance in Cecil County District Court. Wow. Okay, you guys. So now the boyfriend, Cedric Randall, the one I read in the last part, he was 44, and when the police went to his house to search, they didn't find any consistencies in his house for the cleaning or smelling of bleach or nothing. He had cameras. They said the camera showed him leaving the house, but there was no girl with him. But when they searched his car, they found a blanket and it had reddish brown smear that's consistent with blood in it. And he said the blanket, he received it from a stranger last summer while in a park. Now, that doesn't make sense. This whole case doesn't add up to me. I just don't understand why the mother would lie like that. So authorities say in investigating the kidnapping report, interviewed Darren Randall, the mother, who initially made a number of false and misleading statements. The charging documents state, after that time, Randall ultimately admitted that the alleged kidnapping report was not true. Instead, authorities said Randall told them that she struck the child at the boyfriend's house, Cedric's house, in Northeast. So Darren confessed to physically striking Nola with a belt approximately 15 to 20 times about her body during the daytime hours on Monday, and charging documents say. The documents go on to state that the child fell to the ground, who wasn't moving. It was unresponsive. Randall told authorities she picked the child up, realized her daughter was no longer breathing, and called for Cedric. The mother said that Cedric tried CPR but realized the child was already dead at that point. So Darren and Cedric put the child in Cedric's vehicle and drove around for a while before returning home and putting the child inside of a suitcase. You dumb motherfuckers. Woo, these people just, people like this just makes me sick. Like, yo, they need to be stomped on with shit. You know, they need to drown in shit. These, especially the mother. Oh my God. So the mother, Darian, put the suitcase in the basement overnight before asking Cedric to take it somewhere. So Cedric removed the suitcase and later sent her a picture of a park. What? What? You mean they left the child's body in the park? So on Wednesday, which was yesterday, the Maryland police interviewed Cedric, who made a map of where he believed the mother, Darren, may have disposed of the child. But you disposed of the child. Yo, these motherfuckers can't stop lying. Okay, so the investigators went to the area on Dunn Drive in Northeast, where the remains were found in a suitcase. Cedric's house backs up to the vacant lot where he is accused of dumping the girl's body. Why would you put it behind your house, dumbass? Yo, motherfuckers are stupid. Yo. God, stupid fucks. The remains were consistent with an emancipated child and were completely wrapped in saran wrap. Maryland police said identification of the remains is pending autopsy results by the medical examiner to determine the cause of death. Residents of the Ilk Nest neighborhood in Northeast expressed shock. We just can't fathom how a human being can do this to another human being. Oh, baby. They do it all the time. Having a mother that's supposed to love their child and making sure they're doing right by them, hearing she was abused and eventually killed. That's a horrible thing. There's a lot of kids nowadays, like for real, like early, like April to now, it seems like a lot of kids under the age of 5 are dying at the hands of their mothers or fathers. Yo, people just can't keep their fucking hands off kids. So the police of Maryland, that the mother was, we already know the mother was taken into custody. She was charged with first, second degree child abuse, resulting in the death of minor under 13. So now the boyfriend is charged as accessory of first and second degree unaliving and other charges, and he's held on a $75,000 bond and home detention. These motherfuckers are sick. And for the boyfriend to get involved in that, man, I want to say it. I hope the man beat you every single day while you're in that jail. You have the opportunity to stop this, but you didn't. And for the mother, I'm ashamed, appalled, sickened, disgusted at you. It seems like all these kids that are dying are my kids' age. It's like, if you don't want the kid, you could have gave it up. You didn't have to sit there and lie on them folks and say that they did it when they didn't. Yo, I hope y'all get life. The mother, I hope you get death. I hope when they say I hope you get the death penalty. And I hope and I wish you will be beaten to death, stuffed in a suitcase, and placed in a vacant lot, buried. But hell, what do I know? I'm just a talking head. Have a great day, YouTube.
So you're telling me the mother of that 3-year-old baby, Nola Dinkins, made everything up? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday, a mother reported that her daughter got kidnapped. Her 3-year-old daughter got kidnapped by a white male with a gun. She said she was driving with her daughter. Her daughter was a little upset, so she pulled over. When she pulled over to talk to her daughter, somebody pulled up to her car, a white male with a white woman inside the car, and pulled out the gun on her and kidnapped her daughter. Of course, police put out the Amber Alert because they wanted to find the girl. Now today they're saying that that story was a lie. So at 1:45 today, the homicide unit found remains, which they're saying might be Nola Dinkins. Did you just hear what I said? State homicide unit found human remains that might be a child's, that could be Nola Dinkins. And with that being said, now charges are pending. Charges on her mother are pending. Meaning her mother lied, set all this up, and took her own baby's life. Allegedly. This woman lied about the kidnapping, lied about the whole situation, and then this is what happens to that baby? People need help, man. Mental health is real, man. Pay attention.
Let me be one of the first ones to say, number one, I never really wanted to come out and say that I did not believe that mother from Newark, Delaware, saying that she pulled over on the side of the road to reprimand her daughter, and a YT man with peach fuzz hair pulled over and took her child at you know what I mean, forcibly armed. I don't believe that. Number one, I can't. When I heard the story, I was like, why is she lying like that? Like, literally, it gave Casey Anthony. That's what it did. And this is the one reason why I'm so upset, because these are the things that actually make it so hard on future kids and parents that really do have these type of issues. You see what I'm saying? Here you done hurt your child. okay? You done hurt your child, and you don't want to deal with the consequences of what you did. So you lied. And you had everybody with this doing Amber Alert, because I got it on my phone yesterday. You had everybody with this doing Amber Alert. So now in the future, if something like this real was to really happen, they are going to be so slow to actually check and actually validate our stories. I cannot stand it. Like, just like with the other girl that claimed that, oh yeah, she got abducted or whatever have you. We was out here looking for you. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. I'm not even gonna say as a race, but as a human race, we gotta do better. This is crazy. Stop doing. You know what? Somebody did. Oh my God. Baby girl, lucky she in jail. She lucky she in jail. That's all I'm gonna say.
And as soon as I saw the story about Nola Dinkins, I knew something was fishy.
A second arrest has been made in the suspected murder of Nola Dinkins. This as the young victim's mother was charged with her death and for filing a false police report.
Randall told police her daughter had been kidnapped at gunpoint along the 500 block of Gender Road in Newark around 7 o'clock last night. Police issued an Amber Alert for the little girl. Hours later, police learned
that the initial report provided by Randall was false and that Amber Alert was subsequently canceled.
Maryland State Police say Randall's boyfriend, 44-year-old Cedric Antoine Britton, is charged with accessory to first and second-degree murder and failure to report a child death. The couple lived at this home on the 300 block of Elk Nest Drive in Northeast Maryland. Neighbors who did not want to go on camera say Britton attended their neighborhood HOA meeting last night around the same time the little girl was reported missing.
And in under 24 hours, she would go from having an Amber Alert issued for her disappearance to the police finding her body. Now, a lot of individuals on the internet made a really good point. Why was the boyfriend at an HOA meeting while the little girl was being reported missing? And it's very much so giving that he was trying to establish an alibi by having witnesses see him sitting at an HOA meeting. Now, in the coming days, we're going to figure out what exactly was the parents' motive. Was there child neglect? Was there child abuse? We don't actually know the reason as to why. And the fact that they lived in an affluent neighborhood with an HOA kind of deepens the mystery as to what was going on in that house of horrors.